Thank you. Is there anyone who doesn't have this program with them so that the ushers could bring to you? Okay, okay. Ushers, please make sure that you give those things to those who do not have.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I would want to take you through the life of Madam Lizzie Wanyoike while she was on earth. My name is Allan, Njenga. We are going to read the theology in English, and on the last pages, those who may not understand this language, you can follow through and understand. Theology of Lizzie Wanyoike. Early life. Our matriarch, mentor, role model, mother, grandmother, rose from humble beginnings. She was born at Gadukeine village, location 15, Muranga district, on the 5th November 1951. She was the sixth born of the late Peterson Kariuki and the late Naomi Wangeshi. Surrounded by the love and support of her brothers and sisters, John Gadage, the late Eudias Wangari, and the late Fresia Joki, Jones Jologe, Sylvia Wambui, David Mugambi, Samuel Maige, Lecho Wagikoyo, and Joseph Kiragu. Lizzie came from a very ordinary family, growing up in a rural setting, enjoying the blood and blood of all manner of characters from her mother's breast womb. As it was during those days, Lizzie grew up helping her parents attend to their farm and also helping her mother in house chores. She was focused, resilient, hardworking, and committed child, traits that defined her throughout her adult life. She was not, however, without mischief. She could at times claim credit, even in tasks that she did not accomplish personally. Being a sixth-born, she was pampered by her elder siblings, who could assist her on some of the tasks given. While at school, she picked up the habit of sucking her thumb, which was condemned her teachers, but in vain. She always claimed that it gave her solace, especially in a maths class, which she passionately disliked. Education. Lizzie's education journey began at Gadukeine Primary School, where she laid the foundation for a lifetime of learning. She sat for her common entrance examinations 3 years later and progressed to Kiabugi Intermediate, where she sat for the Kenya African Preliminary Examinations, KAPE, and passed. Lizzie later joined Kahuhia Girls up to Form 4. Her parents wanted her to join Kagumo Teachers Training College to become a P1 teacher, a career that she was not enthusiastic about. She managed to convince her father to allow her proceed to Form 5. Her wish was granted, and she later joined Nakuru High School for Form 5 and 6. While in Form 6, a team of well-wishers from Britain visited their school, scouting for students interested in pursuing further studies in the field of business and secretarial studies, with the aim of becoming high school teachers. She was amongst the students who were selected to join Kenyatta College, present-day Kenyatta University, to pursue a diploma in teacher education with a bias in secretarial studies. Ironically, during her entire education, she had a dislike for mathematics subjects. Interestingly, this dislike did not prohibit her from becoming one of the greatest entrepreneurs of our time. Marriage and family life. Lizzie met the love of her life while she was in her last year in Kenyatta College. As it was during those days, girls were extremely cautious about relationships, knowing very well the consequences should this information reach their parents. This was not exemptional to Lizzie. Her friendship with her soulmate blossomed, and in 1972, she got married to her sweetheart, Josephat Buru Wanyoike. Together, they were blessed with 3 children, Anthony Buru, Stella Wajiro, and Eric Karaoke. Lizzie was mother-in-law to Anne Wajiro, David Buru, and Peter Getau, adopting grandmother to Ayana Wajiro, Sheana Muthoni, Ethan Boro, Jonathan Gige, Sidney Boro, Shasha Kelich, Jay Boro, Shemio Muthoni, Rizzi Muthoni Karaoke, Ian, Philip Degwa, and Lizzie Muthoni Wanyoike. Together with her late husband, Lizzie ensured that all her children accessed quality education and were lucky to never miss any privileges about their learning. She was keen to help them appreciate the importance of education, and her presence was felt throughout their academic journey. Lizzie brought up her children doubling as a career woman and a mother. She was a strict disciplinarian. She was actively present in the lives of her children as they grew up. She was dropping and picking them from school, helping them with their homework, and also instilling values of responsibility in them. She mentored her children to become individuals of value and substance in the society, and also appreciate those who were less fortunate. Since her husband was a corporate titan, she spent most of her time with the kids, learning errands together, going to church and holidays and road trips with her children in her black Peugeot. Occasionally, Rizzi has talked about how she managed sibling rivalry amongst her children. She could talk about how the firstborn son, who is Tony Wanyoike, was not happy when she got him other siblings. Her children describe her mother as loving, caring, compassionate, understanding, supportive, nurturing, and forgiving. She reprimanded where necessary and rewarded where deserved. Whenever you found Rizzi seated with her children, you could not help but notice a very strong bond they had created together. She had a tightly knitted family and was free with her children. None of the children would have a reason to hide anything from her. Although Lizzie was financially endowed, at no one time did she spoil her children by making them feel entitled for what she owned. She instilled the spirit of hard work in all her children. She had a big heart and welcomed all sundry to her home. She welcomed her younger sister, Rachel Kareithi, and brought her up as her own daughter. She also welcomed her niece, Penina Bogua, with open arms to her home and nurtured her. It was difficult for one to notice that these were not her own biological children. In Lizzie's marriage, the world opened its doors and windows wide open for her. In her first year of marriage, she went shopping in London and also traveled all over Europe and eventually to the US. Lizzie loved traveling outside the country with her favorite destination in Switzerland. While in the country, she would take several road trips and from Mombasa and to and from Mombasa with her loving husband and children. Although Lizzie had a very busy schedule, she always created time once a year to take a vacation. Lizzie had the finest taste of country music and slow jam. Career. Lizzie had an industrious career in the education sector, full of life, fun, and excitement. After graduating from Kenyatta College, present-day Kenyatta University, Lizzie started her job as a teacher at State House Girls High School. She taught for a year before resigning to take care of her children. When her children attained school age, her desire to embark on her career path as a tertiary institution trainer was reignited. She got a job in Temple College as a secretarial studies trainer. The owner, Mrs. Willis, an elderly white woman who was soon to retire, was the proprietor of the college. Lizzie became one of her most loyal and dedicated lecturers, and as a reward, she was promoted to the position of deputy principal. After 5 years of active service, it was apparent that she had settled to Lizzie to become the institution's principal. Mrs. Willis eventually approached Lizzie and asked whether she was in a position to buy off the institution. Lizzie was excited about that proposal, and she approached her husband. The purchase and transfer was effected. Mrs. Willis left for the country and Lizzie took over as the principal and director of the college. Under the leadership of Lizzie, Temple College grew twofold. 99% of the students were from Uganda, Tanzania, Sudan, and few from Kenya. The collapse of the East African community in 1977 came with very serious ramifications to the existence of Temple College. The countries that were enrolling majority of the learners withdrew their students, and the risk of survival was now squarely on Lizzie's shoulders. She had to be creative to remain afloat. Lizzie had to think fast if she was to make the college thrive again. She could not live with the reality of laying off her members of staff and shutting down the college. Lizzie casted her net into the local waters to get students. She thought of a promotion drive that took the market by storm. In the 80s, not many private institutions had a promotional campaign going in the local media, and so she launched her charm offensive on air. Those were the days of media monopoly, where the only channel was the Voice of Kenya. That was later to become the Kenya Broadcasting Corporation, KBC. The media houses were also not used to hosting local entrepreneurs to campaign for the national economy, and therefore they embraced Lizzie with both arms as they gave her free invitation to its Swahili, English, and Gikuyu service station. Those who were born then remember that the only Kikuyu broadcast service aired its programs for a few hours in a day. Those are the days when the late Gaidhuma Wake Mumu and others were the station celebs who hosted guests, and their popularity with the masses then worked well for her promotion agenda.